Aloha and welcome to Wisdom Dialogues with Hope Johnson, coming to you from the big island of Hawaii, in fairyland, in my bedroom today. Soon we'll be in the Buddha shack. Yes, but for now we're in my bedroom, and this is a lovely painting behind me.
Oh, who did it?
It was me.
Oh, you did that. Oh, cool.
it was just for fun. And then I got it. I was like, oh, I love the colors. I'm just gonna put it over here. Want to see another one that I did?
Yeah.
This one right here. Let's see how I can get it over there.
Oh, look at that.
Cute, huh?
Is that of something a place you know of?
No, but it's kind of like a place that I've seen, like I have a vision of a place. It just kind of like pops in my mind.
Neat.
Yeah, it looks fun.
Yeah.
I like purple sidewalks. That's fun.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we're on camera. We're on video. I forgot all about that.
What's up with the Buddha? Where's the Buddha shack?
Well, the Buddha shack is just right on the same acre where I am, and then you just go out, and it's really nice. I think once the time changes over there in the mainland, and I start having them at 3 o'clock, there will be enough light. But otherwise, Tony's gonna put some hanging lights in there, and then I'll be able to have wisdom dialogues at the Buddha shack. The Buddha shack.
The Buddha shack.
Right. Yeah.
So when it changes, it's changing this weekend. So
yeah,
your next one will be at 3. So that means it'll be at 8 instead of 9 for us.
No, it'll be at the same time for you guys. Our time doesn't change.
Oh, that's right. Your time doesn't change.
Yeah, I leave at the same time for the mainland peeps.
That's right. You guys.
And I just change it over here.
Ever. Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll be 6 hours difference instead of 5.
Right. Exactly. That's how it works. Hooray. Yulia just came on. How fun.
Hi, Yulia.
Okay, so Lori was talking about something really fun, and this is something that comes up a lot. We haven't talked about it a lot on Wisdom Dialogue, so I'm super stoked that she brought it up. And it's about how when you feel this call to speak the truth, so to speak, for people who are coming to you and asking, and a little voice that goes, am I qualified? am I really qualified? Here's the thing, you're not qualified. Because you don't need qualification. It's just not like that at all. It's not a matter of whether you're qualified or not. It's just a matter of, where can suffering be alleviated in my own mind right now? Just right now. And right now, if there's a little voice saying, am I qualified? Recognize. That's a meaningless thing. There's no need to pursue that or even question it or anything. There's no way you cannot be qualified. Even like, say, the drug addict on the street, hanging out on the street. If someone comes to them looking for assistance, looking for relief from suffering, would they not be doing the same?
Right.
And offering it? See?
Yeah, I see.
It's like everyone is qualified because there's no such thing as being qualified. There's not, consciousness is using this self-image. It's not yours.
Right. Oh my God, it's so weird because I just told someone that.
Well, you know what's fun? You know what's fun, Lori, that I noticed too? For the longest time, whenever I would write something on Facebook, I would have the experience then. I would have the experience of myself falling into it.
Exactly what's happening.
Yeah, isn't that great?
There's not a lot of delay in between.
Yeah. Yeah, you could really see how it's working. So when it comes up like that, and even when you experience yourself falling into it, remember you're not falling into it. You're experiencing yourself falling into it. Even when you experience it, even in hindsight, it's a total blessing. And as it's looked at as a blessing, it makes you more alert or focused. Let's say it's focused for the next time it comes around. Your focus is sharpened.
Right.
See?
More clear.
Yeah. So the next time it comes around, it's like, oh, I know this. I've been here before. Here's how it is. Here's how it works.
Well, that's how all of this has happened for
Uh-huh.
that's literally how it's all happened. It's like, oh, that's what it's that bing, 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 bing. That realization is that's when because the you can have all the wording or all the intellectual knowing, but when the experience happens, that's what I wrote this week.
Yeah.
The experience trumps understanding all the time.
That's for sure. And it's like whatever you say and even whatever you post on Facebook or anything, it's always teaching your own mind. Don't think of the other person's mind as separate because there's only one mind. So it's whatever you're saying it to your own mind. See? So
Getting
it's like the gentleness that you show when you speak when you're and the openness that is revealed when you're writing a post like that, it's kind of like paves the way for the experience.
mm,
See, it's kind of like an invitation for the experience.
like pulling it in,
What's that?
like drawing it in, dialing it in.
Yes, but consciousness is doing it. No one's doing it. And that's something that leads me to, that's something I see a lot around here. People say, I'm calling it in. I'm calling it in. And it's
No,
like the I, though, that's associated with the one that's calling it in is so in the way. And that's why I see, people getting frustrated with not being able to manifest what they think they should have been able to manifest, and because the focus is totally on this I who manifests and is supposed to somehow get it right, and
yes,
that's the purpose for being here is manifesting.
right.
See, it's like joy just continues to manifest. Joy just continues to manifest itself. And any kind of good, any kind of benefit, any kind of blessing that we perceive in anything in the world, like even like maybe a piece of jewelry that's super dear and precious, all that we see that's good is actually it's who we are. It's actually who we are,
Right.
you know.
Right.
Like we've given it that power. It's us who have given it that power for it to be something, say, that's sacred, something we think that is good and beautiful and lovely. It's we who have given it that power. And likewise, we give the power to that with which can make us feel dirty or ugly or angry.
Yeah.
One of my friends goes, I can't talk to this guy because he'll make me go ballistic. You guys all just crack up. That's funny. You guys can't even take that. You're like, what? Yeah. And it's like, and that's like a real exaggerated example of, the idea that say a rainy day makes you feel blue, you
Mm,
know, because it's all just projections. So whatever we see that's lovely to us, that's like a a symbol of the reality, let's say, of who we are. We've given it that power to be lovely. See, and then something that gives a like that. Like for me, I'll give you a good example, a funny one too. When my son Brun was young, when he was like 4 years old, he would poop outside and then ask someone to wash his ass. So so I was washing his ass one day, and I just go, "Oh, this is disgusting." And he goes, "You're disgusting." And I go, "Oh, you're right." See? And then and so that feeling that was being projected toward the poopy ass,
Mhm.
like that gave it the giving it the power for that, that feeling can just be known it and as it is, as where it's coming from, and let it just be known as it is. And in the knowing the feeling as it is, that feeling when I go back to wash the ass next time, it's not like that.
Mm,
It's not a repulsive experience.
mm,
It's more like a gratitude for everything, for my son, and the whole experience.
mm.
See?
Yep, I do see.
so so everything can be made lovely by the truth,
No
because
matter.
everything is lovely. And so your experience of it changes. Your experience of it shifts right before your eyes, you know. And I can give you another example, like say my son, I have a 16-year-old son, and something doesn't go his way. I don't know, maybe he can't find his earbuds or something, and he might be kind of like getting into a mode where he's like you know and and then watch how that can transform so quickly when there's not a reaction to it. It's just a
Yeah,
matter of it's just a matter of watching how it comes up, watching how it comes up in your own energy body. What the manifesting ego likes to do is, something must be wrong. How did I manifest this yelling person in my Zen space?
mm,
Do you
yeah,
see?
yeah,
So it's like when the yelling arises, it's arising in this field of experience. It's arising in this field of experience. It's not arising over there.
right.
It's arising in this field of experience. So it's allowed to have its place. It's allowed to have its place. And
Mm,
in being allowed to have its place, the energy just transforms really quickly. And
right.
you know what the interesting thing is? It gets deeper. The joy and the connection between us goes deeper, and the little bursts get shorter and are less intense. See?
Wow. Less.
And and they all become more playful. They all become more playful too. That's the other thing. It's not like, oh no, not again. It's like, ooh, sense something different here.
Mm,
This just changed. What's that change? And experiencing that change. It's not like someone else has to change. It's not like I have to show someone else how to change, or I even have to change myself. Just experience the change, because the change is all that's happening here. It's always changing.
oh, constant.
Yeah, so here's the thing. When there's awareness of the fluctuation that's arising right now, that change starts coming from a relaxed space. And in that relaxed space, the change naturally moves smoothly, harmoniously towards joy. See? And it doesn't matter the circumstances. The circumstances are not what I'm talking about. If you're going to reject circumstances, all that's going to happen is getting more and more circumstances to reject.
Mm,
See, if you think you can fine tune your manifesting so you can make it just perfect, you can go on and on like that forever. You might get some things along the way where you go, oh, wow, that manifesting looks so good. I'm going to manifest over here now, and put all this energy into making stuff in the world. But that's not anything. It's totally meaningless. And consciousness can do it without you, and so much better. So much,
with
with so much more ease. See?
okay, without the you that you think you are.
Exactly. Without anyone who has to work. Let's put it that way.
Okay, okay, yeah.
Okay. Even in the sense of working, like in my case, I find myself being the executive director of an essential oil company. My honey just walked in. You want to see him? Show
Yes.
yourself, honey.
Hi, Tony. Nice to meet you finally.
You too. I'm talking to a computer.
It's Lori
Hi, Lori
and Holly
and Holly.
and Yulia and Lionel.
Lionel, what's up? Shoot.
Oh, there's my man.
I just saw Candy walk in too.
Yeah,
Walk
Candy's here. She was scratching to get out earlier, and then she decided to come.
She's such a sweet cat.
I know. So what were we talking about? Did you guys remember? I don't have a rewind.
She was a creep. You were saying you find yourself the executive of the.
Oh yeah, right. So then it seems like there's a lot of stuff for me to do, right? And sometimes my calendar can get busy and stuff like that. But the thing is that it's all being done through consciousness. There's not an individual who has to do it. So there's not a burden about it, you know. And what's funny is a lot of the times I will find myself during the time when everyone's working, like 9 to 1, when everyone's working, and I'll be like, I'm not really pressed for anything to do right now. And then just go maybe hang out in the secret garden or something like that, you know. But if it seems like, oh my God, I'm so busy, which is how I used to run my business when I had a construction company. It would be like, oh my God, I'm just so busy. No, I don't have time for that. I'm too busy. And
The mind is addicted to that.
yes, because it makes you important according to, the ego's wisdom. It makes you important if you're busy and you have a lot of stuff on your calendar. And then the other thing, the correlation, the cause and effect between like hard work and making money, that's not true. It's not really true. So it's like if you think if you have the thought that you'd like to make more money, number one, that's not really you saying that. That's just a thought that came up. And those and that kind of thought, it's not a problem at all. It's going towards that. It's going toward more money all by itself just because the thought. But see, what happens is resistance comes up because it's like, I've got to do it. I've got to do it. And that makes people frustrated because if it's like, I've got to do it, and for some people, they don't know how. They're like, how am I going to do it? For other people, they think they know how. They're like, oh, I just need to work hard. And, the thing is, working hard and money actually have no relationship. Like, no relationship.
Making good money and there's not any hard work.
Look, there's the relationships between consciousness and money, and there's a relationship between consciousness and work. There's no relationship between money and work. That's an illusion.
Got it.
Isn't that for fun?
Yeah, very. That was a really good way to get it across.
Thank you, consciousness. Yeah, one of my friends told me today that I'm an amazing woman. Of course, I didn't say anything, and like I just told her I loved her. Yeah. And the thing is, there's not a woman. There's not a woman.
Right.
That's the thing.
Amazing. Yeah.
Yeah, there's not a woman. Consciousness is amazing. I found myself saying today, because my little sister, who told me that she appreciates me every day, that my little sister Pandita, she's been on before. She said she appreciates me every day, and she was telling me how she's seen her life transforming. Like she feels so much more focused. She's halfway through an education, and she's making like a sweet little garden for herself to relax around her house and stuff like that. And it's like being in that state of appreciation every day is what brings good. And that, yeah. And even that, what, it allows consciousness to come through in a more focused fashion. See? So these things just kind of happen. It's not like there was someone to do it. When there was someone to do it back some years ago, she always found herself frustrated, stuck. not able to get anywhere. And, all that can get stuck is an individual. Consciousness isn't stuck. Look, watch the fluctuations. That's all changing. There's no stuck.
Nope, there's stuck.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, that's a really I'm really grateful for that insight coming, that there's absolutely no correlation between work and money. Let that sink in. There is absolutely no correlation. That's an illusion. And look, because of believing in that illusion, people are finding themselves sitting in gridlock just to eke out a meager existence.
Yeah.
Okay. And even if in your case your kind of work isn't sitting in gridlock, just the belief itself that somehow you're getting the money to come to you, it makes it makes this possibility of the gridlock and of the hunger and of the all these things that you seems like you need money for.
Yeah.
It's just a seeming reality. It's not even true. So, like in my case, I don't really know how my day is going to go, even if it's scheduled up. Sometimes it's all scheduled up. I don't really know how it's going to go, though.
Nope.
So, there's a schedule there, and there's not someone to do any work. Stuff, whatever is inspired happens, and it happens when it happens. So, it's like when I sit down and it's like, okay, I feel like sitting at my computer. Sit at my computer. The computer's in front of me. There's a sense of just waiting. Like, what feels the most inspiring right now? Okay, taking into consideration that this thing is on the calendar and everything like that. But things can change.
Yeah.
Things can change. All of a sudden you get up to that time. Is it still the same? Is it still the most inspiring? Most of the time it is. But there's other times where it's like, hey, like I noticed today I had an appointment at 10, a phone appointment, or at 2, it was a phone appointment, and I found myself cooking at 1:50. I was cooking something. And I just like pick up my iPhone. Hey, can you give me another 10 minutes? Yes, I can. It just makes the whole thing just like more chill and relaxed. But if there's this adherence kind of vibe,
right,
where you could find yourself feeling victimized by one of your family members asking you to make them some food 10 minutes before you have an appointment. Instead of being in gratitude, making this lovely food and enjoying the experience of feeding your family, and then going to the next experience in a likewise state, of grace. It's allowed, it's available for everyone, and that's why hard work isn't really necessary. And in fact, it's not a reality. No one really can work hard. They can have the experience of themselves performing hard work, but that's only an expression of consciousness. They're not actually doing it like they think.
Right.
Yeah. So even in the experience of something that's, say, physically challenging, let's say, something like that, maybe in my case, I guess the only thing that would be physically challenging would be like when I go see the physical trainer and get a weight workout. But even in that, it's like, I'm not doing it. It's a relaxed state. Even weightlifting is a relaxed and meditative and glorious experience. See, the whole thing is a sensory experience instead of an experience that's meant to get something. What are my returns going to be? Let me suffer through this so I can get some kind of return. That's the way the ego goes. It's like there's not a willingness to just sink in right here. Sink in right here. Say you're standing in line and the thought comes and says, I don't like standing in line. So if that thought is believed, that thought is taken as meaningful at all, it's going to be a shitty time standing in line. Yeah. But if that's just allowed to pass as a fluctuation, which it is,
it'll just pass.
It's no different than hearing someone talk next to you in line. hearing the sound of, I don't like standing in line.
Mhm.
See, it's no different from that. So it doesn't mean anything. And, I've experienced this so clearly that as soon as that thought's just allowed to pass, it's like a license to have fun. Things start opening up. And at a minimum, you can sense the experience more fully. You can sense the energetic fluctuation. Standing in line doesn't becomes not a thing now. The thing is this experience that's arising in the space of awareness. It's just arising in the space of awareness. It's not happening to anyone. Everything anybody says or does or appears, that's done by us. You could say it's our doing,
Mm.
because it's consciousness doing everything for us.
Mm.
And here's another aspect that's really interesting. The whole world that can be perceived, including the physical body, okay? The physical body and the world are one perception. The whole world that can be perceived is projected out of the energy body, of this energy body.
Yeah,
That's why there's unique experiences.
because the world's gone if that
Yeah,
body's gone. Yeah.
yeah, and yes, the world is gone, and the energy body isn't being powered by awareness. Let's say it's
Right.
being
Beautiful.
in consciousness. Yeah,
Great with that.
but
Wow.
the energy body, and then you can detect, you can have an intimate experience with the energy body just by watching the energetic fluctuations, emotional energy, physical physical like pain in the body. Notice the sensation of that. Anything, just being the space for it. So you might notice a tightness in the chest. I share with people, watch your breathing, watch where your breath goes. Don't try to make it anything, just watch where you're going. Is it slow and deep? Is it going down to the belly, or is it choppy? Is it fearful? Is it only making it down to the lungs? See? For a lot of people, and for most people, I think there is energy blockages in the energy body such that it closes off the breath from reaching down to the belly, like it does for babies. Well, and an experience happens where a sense of individuality is taken on, and those automatically close up. It's like it being closed off energetically. And so symbolically, it's like it doesn't allow the breath to flow deeply. See? And in just watching that, the breath begins to deepen. There's nothing even to do about it. And that's, basically when people are sitting in meditation, it's just watching everything like that. It's just a matter of watching everything. Thoughts, okay, they're passing, you're watching. You might find yourself getting caught up in one, but it's always just it's always just you're finding yourself appearing as if you're getting caught up in one, but you're still watching actually.
Mm.
See, if you're watching, that's basically present, right?
Awareness.
You're only watching, you're not actually in it. Okay,
Right.
so I got a question here from Stephen. And by the way, Stephen, if you would like to speak with me, welcome. If you would like to speak with me, please raise your hand. Otherwise, I can address this without you if you're not comfortable with that. So, oh, and by the way, you won't be on camera. I don't have that capability right now. So the ego wants to keep you in a state believing that you are an individual when in truth, there is only one. Well, here's the thing. The ego's whole life depends on you being an individual because it is programmed to protect you as an individual. Isn't it a sweetheart?
Mhm.
It's because it's because that's what was necessary in consciousness to protect this individual so that we could see what it's like to be separate. Because probably when you first start, the first thought that creates consciousness that makes consciousness appear is the thought of separation. And then everything just extrapolates out off of that. So the ego is built up to protect this. It's almost like an agreement to take on this pretense that we're individuals. And it's like once we've taken it as far as we want, then consciousness begins to wake us up. It's like consciousness puts you to sleep. Consciousness wakes you up. Isn't that fun? The whole conditioning from when you're a baby is to put you to sleep.
And it does it so well.
Yeah, and no one's a victim though. No one's a victim because that's what everyone, that's what you could say everyone is asking for. The experience that are arising in the space of awareness are for the experience of being who we are, the joy of being who we are. And in experiencing the joy of being who we are, eventually consciousness becomes unnecessary. Consciousness is also something that rises and falls, rises and passes us away. It's only necessary when there's something to be conscious of. And there's experience without the necessity of consciousness. There's still experience without the necessity of consciousness. And that's the real world. That's the real mind. Mind is world, okay? So there's still, you don't need consciousness. Mind is world. Mind lasts. Mind lasts forever. But consciousness doesn't. Consciousness is sort of like a painting over the real world. Kind of like painting an image over the real world. It makes individuals to be aware of other individuals. It takes an individual to be conscious of another individual. No need for consciousness if there's no necessity for that. We don't need bodies to communicate. The experience of the real world is unimaginable from this perception. And
Right.
Some people make up the idea that this is all there is duality. That's not true. You don't need duality. Some of these teachings talk about how you need contrast. The only reason that contrast is necessary is to see through it. Not to try to manifest shit with it, but to see through it. And in the seeing through it, consciousness makes the manifestations, all the manifestations that bring the same kind of joy that comes with seeing through it. We don't have to manipulate it at all. We don't have to manipulate. See? Okay, so then when in truth there is only one. Yes, there is only one. So there's no threat in the world. There's no threat in the world. We could make up threats in the mind. We can make up threats by pursuing, you could say pursuing thoughts. And how do you pursue thoughts? You take them as meaningful. If they don't mean anything, you're not interested. They're not going to have any power. But if you take them as meaningful, oh, this is dangerous. We better be careful. We better be careful, like we have a business on Amazon. We sell essential oils and a lot of stuff on Amazon. And it's like this thing came up. Whoa, you better be careful. There's a lot of other sellers, or there's a lot of people on Amazon that just kind of like work the system and return shit and stuff like that. And I'm like, well, yeah, but nothing can happen to us. Nothing can happen to us. Whatever appears to happen to us, it's a manifestation of our own thoughts, you could say, even though no one owns them. It's a manifestation of what it feels like to believe as we do. Another way of saying it. So nothing can touch us. But in the experience of, what if they're just going to buy some of our expensive oils and then return it and get their money back? And, we're not going to make the money on, and you start going like that. That's also a feeling. And that's projecting. It's projecting. It's an early demonstration of what's to come. That feeling. It's an early demonstration. So we don't have to be afraid of the feeling. I've had people say that to me, well, I'm really afraid of feeling bad because, and I know I'm manifesting bad stuff. Well, here's the thing. Feeling bad has no effect at all when you know where you stand.
Mm.
It has no effect. Excuse me, I
Yeah.
got cat hair on my nose, so I'm doing this right now. Ah, Candy's such a love.
Yeah, when you know you're not that person, oh my gosh, changes everything.
Yes, it changes everything because it doesn't matter what it is that arises in the space of your awareness. This is
Mm.
a space of awareness. I mean, take the eyes, for instance. That just seems like the easiest example for me. And the whole field of vision in the eyes. That all that you can see is arising in the space of awareness. You can't see anything that's outside of the space of awareness. You can't see it, and you can't, you can't make this shit up. It's just like this is what's in the space of awareness. Okay, there it is, experiencing it. Just experiencing what's in the space of awareness instead of believing in the make believe story about what's in the space of awareness. Like, oh my God, here I am standing in line. You're not standing in line. You're actually not standing in line. You're having an experience of resistance.
Oh,
Well, it appears that you're standing in line. Hold on a second. We're getting the rain. I'll close this.
not the person. It's not just the person standing in line, it's the resistance.
Okay. I'm back. Okay. That was loud. All right. So now I have another question from Steven here. Now, if I master consciousness as Buddha did, I will still not experience oneness with God. So I suppose the question is, how do you truly experience oneness while still in the realm of perception? A book I'm reading would say, see everything as a dream and forgive myself for creating it in the first place. Yeah? Can you elaborate on the illusion of existence, how not to give emotions power, or how to wake up? Wow, you really asked me a lot of cool stuff there. Okay, this is fun. Okay, yeah, mastering consciousness. That's an ego endeavor. There's no need for that. Consciousness is, it's basically, consciousness will reflect back exactly how you feel about consciousness. If you get that, you could raise your hand if you want to dialogue with me. Um, it'll reflect back exactly how you feel about consciousness, which in this dream, consciousness is who you are. In this dream, you are as consciousness relating with thought. Okay? So it's like, who wants to work who? That's like consciousness trying to work consciousness. Consciousness is going to master consciousness. That's just ego. That's not anything. That's not anything. Consciousness just takes care of itself. Consciousness basically, it's manifesting what feeling, how consciousness feels to you. Okay, so a lot of people are getting beat up in their consciousness and accepting that. So I suppose the question is, how do you truly experience oneness while still in the realm of perception? Well, that's known as a miracle by the Course in Miracles. That's known as a miracle. So in the realm of perception. So the realm of perception, basically, when you say the realm of perception, what you're talking about is the interpretation being made by the energy fluctuations that are experienced in this field of awareness. That's perception. So it's not like anyone is actually in the realm of perception. There's an experience of a perception. There's an experience of a perceiver too, if you look. There's an experience of a perceiver. So that it's like this. The miracle is like this because it's always like in the realm of perception It manifests itself as a really deep joy, maybe more joy than you've ever felt before, than you've ever experienced before. See, and it's not for the experience. It's not for the experience. It's for the healing. And that's what the experience of it's like. You experience a healing because there's this pattern that's showing up. There's this pattern of showing up, an ancient pattern. Say it's between two people, where whenever they get together, they're being dicks to each other. Feeling like one feeling victimized, maybe one feeling like the victimizer. And whenever they get together, it's like war. See, and then when there's that perception of that dance, and in recognizing where this is being experienced from, being experienced from, there's an openness in the energy body to allow this in, to allow all these sensations in, and that takes one person out of that dance. That takes one person out of the dance. And if one's out of the dance, so is the other. They might flutter off over here, like that. You're a fucking asshole, all this stuff over here like that. But when this is healed, when this energy body is allowed to be healed right in the moment, that's how the awareness, the oneness plays in the perception, because it heals that perception of duality. That heals that perception that that's another person out there who's capable of doing any kind of harm, or that I am capable of doing any kind of harm to another person. When that's gone, that's a true relationship. And that's how in the realm of perception, awareness can heal. And that's what's considered a miracle. That's as far as I've gotten for experiencing oneness in the realm of perception. And I see Steven's got his hand up. Yulia, I see you too. I'm coming to you next, babe. All right, so I'm going to bring Steven. Steven, aloha.
Hello, can you hear me?
I can hear you great. Thank you.
Okay. I wasn't sure if these headphones worked.
They're doing it. They're doing the job.
Okay, so I suppose what I'm asking is, because the book that I'm reading is considered the prequel to Course in Miracles, as you mentioned.
Okay.
Everything in this existence would be a projection of the ego.
Okay.
Is that correct? Or
well, yeah, everything that's seen as if it's separate, it's a projection of the ego. The thing, let's put it this way, the thing itself is arising in consciousness. The thing as a thing that's separate from you is a projection of the ego. See?
okay.
So in consciousness, as it's arising, it's not arising as an egoic thing. It's the projection that it's separate from who you are, as if it could be a benefit to you or a detriment to you on its own. The mind might use it as a benefit or detriment. It might, and that would be an appearance in consciousness. Through consciousness, that would become apparently a benefit or a detriment, but that's not up to you to judge. See, there's a certain knack that you get for sort of like loving consciousness. So the consciousness, that's all that there is in this dream, and that's who you are in the dream as consciousness. Okay, so it's like if whatever it is that arises in consciousness is allowed to. What's that?
Friend walked out. I'm sorry. You can mute me again. I have people out here.
Okay. You're all right. You don't have anything else that you want to say?
No, I'm just gonna listen. I'm gonna silently observe. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you too, Stephen. Hi, Bron. Yeah. everything, seeing everything as a dream, because that's kind of like what it is. You know, it's really the same kind of thing. Like if you go to bed at night and you have a dream and you wake up in the morning and you're like, wow, all these things happen, but they're not there anymore. It's the same way. It's the same way, only it's like it's a program so that it seems like it's continuing on and going on for years and stuff like that. If you recognize that it is only a dream, and here's the other thing, that you have full dominion over it as far as how you're as in how you will be you. How you will be you. So it's like as something arises in the experience, that's consciousness providing the means. Even if it's an ego expression, you know, it's what makes it an ego expression? The way it's taken. The way it's taken. You know, one way to put it is you can also see everything as Christ. Okay, everything as Christ, as in everything as your Savior. Because anything that arises in consciousness, it's like it's there to be forgiven by you. And as soon as it's forgiven by you, it's like you are forgiven. And the more you are forgiven, the more you are able to claim your inheritance, which is the whole world. In the dream, as consciousness, the whole world is yours. All the money in it, everything. It's all yours. Equally. Equally. No one has more than anyone else. It's just consciousness playing. And as we feel as if something is separate and something does have power over it, we're giving it that power. Unless we're aware of what's happening. If we're aware of what's happening, if we're aware of that event unfolding, how it's unfolding right here in the energy body, right here in the energy body. Most of which can be sensed in and around the physical body. But it extends like huge, this energy body, and it's projecting the whole world. So it's kind of like please the energy body, which is also consciousness. Please the energy body. You know, the other morning, yesterday morning, I found myself, I was up at 3:30 in the morning, and I was posting stuff for Wisdom Dialogue. So I posted one, said it's starting in an hour at 3:30 in the morning. I meant to schedule it, but I hit send instead. And it's like, okay, I'm having a Wisdom Dialogue. And when I forgot about it, you know, and I was just hanging out and having all this inspiration, you know, chilling out, having a smoke over at the Buddha Shack. And then all of a sudden, it's like I'm reminded that it's Wisdom Dialogues in 5 minutes at 4:30 in the morning. And all of a sudden, this big rush of nervousness, oh my gosh, I don't know, all this. And it was like, and as soon as it was recognized that it's arising within me, it's just like a deep calm, like way deeper than it just was. You know, it's just like, whoa, it's like, okay. And I even hear a voice like, just be joyful, just be joyful. It's okay. It's okay. Nothing's wrong. The only thing that's going to cause upset is this program thought that something has gone wrong. So as soon as, even when I'm coming back from the Buddha Shack and watching it kind of capitulate back and forth with a, you know, a sense of alarm, kind of like, am I even going to set up on time, you know, and it's 4:30 in the morning. And then just like, oh, just have fun. And in feeling that alarmed energy from a different space, from the, you know, the space of this is what it is. And just in allowing that intense energy, it goes deep. That's the only way I can explain it. It goes deep, and it's a deep, enriching experience that leads to more joy. Okay, so a book I'm reading would see everything as a dream and forgive myself for creating it in the first place. Yes, yes, yes. And not as a person, though, because see, you didn't really create it. You didn't really create it, so you have nothing to be forgiven for. really. This forgiveness is different from what people usually take as forgiveness. It like, what people usually take as forgiveness is like, okay, you've done something wrong and we agree on that and I forgive you. And it's a different kind of forgiveness. It's like it's like whatever arises in the world, just allowing it to be okay. That is self-forgiveness, because the judgment is unforgiveness. The judgment of it, like saying that is wrong, even saying that thing is wrong, or around here they might say the geothermal is wrong and that should go away. That's judgment. That's self-judgment. See? So forgiveness is just recognizing that self-judgment, that's what's hurting you. And the forgiveness is more like grace. It kind of happens automatic because you're recognizing that that's hurting you, to think that thing that appears to be in the outer world is actually doing a disservice. There's no such thing. Consciousness only serves itself. It's all service. It's all service to itself, which is you. And it's also that you can experience more joy, and in experiencing more joy, eliminate the need for consciousness entirely eventually. Okay, so can you elaborate on the illusion of existence? The illusion of existence. The illusion of existence. Well, existence isn't an illusion. It's not an illusion. It's what is. The illusion is that what is has no reality. That what is unreal. It's a whole illusion is denying the real. That's all it is. The whole illusion of separate bodies that can be hurt and die and stuff like that, and they can get in conflict with each other and have wars. That's just make believe. That's not real. It's not actually happening. It's just thoughts playing out. Thoughts playing out isn't actually happening. That's not a real reality. Only love is a reality, and the reality that we share is love. Okay? So when it's recognized what illusion is, recognizing that the illusion is an illusion, then love is allowed to be shared. And that's lovely. And it leads to lovely manifestations. It's like giving permission to consciousness to manifest what pleases you, instead of manifest what your ego thinks will please you. Isn't that great? How not to give emotions power. Well, the only thing that gives emotions power is taking them to be meaningful. They're not meaningful. Okay? It's an energetic fluctuation. It doesn't mean something about you. See, what's unconsciously happening is it's taken to be very meaningful. Every time an emotion comes up, the ego mind is programmed to immediately blame it on something. Anytime any pain comes up, any kind of pain, a headache. Oh, I got a headache because, I don't know, the body's malfunctioning, whatever the reason. I smelled something that gave me a headache. It's not really true. A headache is an attack of the ego. It's as if pain is real. It's not. It's not a reality. That doesn't mean you don't deal with the headache. If your thing is Advil, do Advil. For me, it's like some little peppermint. We'll put a little peppermint essential oil on the temples. Plus, I love the way I just did that with my eyes. The eyeballs start feeling like they're breathing. That's freaking awesome. So it's like even the experience of the headache is an experience within the space of awareness. It's not taken as something meaningful. All it is experience a headache is the same thing as experiencing a sunset. It's just that one's labeled as something better than the other. Oh, I'd much rather have that. Oh, I'd much rather have that. Well, to consciousness, it doesn't matter. That's just to the ego it matters. Everything's equal in consciousness. And as consciousness, if you will allow it to be equal, you'll see that it is. You'll see that it is equal. Just open up to that. It may sound really weird to you right now. How can the experience of a sunset be equal to this experience of a headache? Just be in that question, maybe, if it sounds fun for you. Okay, if that sounds fun for you, be in the question. And then that's kind of like inviting it to be shown how they are equal, how they are in fact equal, how they are both for the experience of being who you are. Because the experience of being who you are is indescribable joy. Okay, that's what it's all for. So how not to give emotions power? If I haven't answered your question, oh, here he comes back again. Maybe I haven't. The ego mind creates the equal, unequal aspect of awareness. Well, awareness doesn't have any aspects. When I'm speaking of awareness, and remember, these are just words, meaningless as can be, but they're pointers. So when I'm speaking of awareness, what I'm speaking of that which is like the space within which consciousness and all of its manifestations arise. Okay, so it's making things arising in consciousness out to be different. Any different? They're not. They're the same. They're the same manifestation. Okay. Yay. Okay. So back to, all right. So the next one, let me know if I don't answer your questions too, like 'cause sometimes I just get off on a tangent. Or how to wake up. Okay. So, no, I love it. Okay, cool. Okay. So, or how to wake up. So there's no one to wake up. And that's the thing, Stephen. It's like this experience of someone who's not awake, that's all happening within the same space of awareness. And, it's like when you see that, experiencing a someone who's not yet awake is for fun. It's not a problem. So there's no one to wake up, and there's no one that you're capable of waking up either. This is a play of consciousness. It's a play of consciousness, and consciousness is providing the means with every single experience that comes to you for waking up. When I say for experiencing who you are, that's the same thing as waking up. That's the same. And consciousness is doing that just automatically. And so there's nothing to do about it. You being drawn to this kind of talk and enjoying it even, it just demonstrates how consciousness is moving in that direction. And so, this is time for celebration. There's really nothing to do. And in experiencing, who's asking the question, how do I wake up? Who's aware of that one asking the question, how do I wake up? That one has never been asleep. That one's been experiencing the whole mother effing time. Whole time. It has never fallen asleep. It just misidentified as consciousness in the dream. It misidentified as an individual. Now, subconsciously, it's still misidentified, even though you see, I got this. I see that it's, this is a dream. So it's still playing out for most people. This is how it goes. It's still playing out those programs, but now it's playing out those programs within an awareness that shines a light in the dark. It's like turning on a light in the room every time one of these patterns arises. It's like this awareness just turns a light on it, and it can be dissolved. And it might seem to go slow. This process might seem to go slow, but still think of it as like a flower blooming. If you just sit there and watch it, it looks like it's going really slow. Well, it's the same kind of thing. Like time is an illusion. It might seem like it's going slow, and other times it might seem very sudden too. So it's like you just keep on going. That's kind of like that's kind of the advice I got at the beginning. I kept on hearing a voice in my mind say, "Just keep going, Hope. Just keep going. Just keep looking in the direction of truth. Just keep looking in the direction. I feel like I'm getting lost," and stuff like that. Is okay. That was before I could see that this one that felt like it was getting lost is actually happening within this field of awareness. And I thought I was getting lost. But I kept on hearing the voice even as I thought I was getting lost. Even if I made the thought I was getting lost meaningful, to say it clearly, because I'm not even capable of thinking, and neither are you. But we do have a choice whether to make that thought meaningful and take on judgment. That's what judgment is, making a thought meaningful, or to remain in love. So that's it. Okay. So Stephen wrote, Albert Einstein, time is the persistent illusion that never goes away. Okay, I'm done typing now. Thanks for the clarity. Mahalo, Stephen. I appreciate you. Okay, so I'm going a little bit over 5, which is awesome. And I would like to take my son to the natural store. So I'm going to take this one from Yulia, and then I'm going to close out. Yulia.
Hi, Hope. Finally.
So good to hear from you. It's been a little bit.
It's been a little while. It's been difficult to get here, which is part of what I wanted to share. First of all, really wonderful questions from the guy before me. I really enjoyed that.
Yeah.
Actually, like that explains a lot of things, or puts a lot of things into words that are difficult to put into words. Your answers to that. So that's great.
I really appreciate that too, because I don't know, like those words, I'm like so grateful for them when they come out, you know, because a lot of the times that's the first time I'm ever hearing anything like that. So I really appreciate when people bring up kinds of questions.
Yeah, well, I just wanted to share it also, that what you were talking about before that. Yeah, no, I can't remember what you were talking about. I just remember that it brought up my experiences recently. And my experiences are that, you know, I am pretty much aware of how whatever experience apparently arises, whatever emotion, whatever thought arises, is just that and nothing else. But yet I'm still finding myself. It's kind of like a lucid dream, maybe, where you know you're dreaming, and yet you're still participating in the dream, and you're experiencing, you know, things that the dream brings, and and you kind of seeing yourself, like, and my thing was like, oh my God, I've been so overloaded with all these obligations and my family. Oh, I'm tired. I'm overwhelmed. I don't have time for this. I don't have time for wisdom dialogues, you know, blah, 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 blah. I'm pretty much hearing myself say that. I'm seeing myself play it out, and yet I'm still doing it, you know. And
so basically you're still finding yourself in that energy because you still need to experience it, because it's still being resisted. See, because even the way it's being interpreted is resistance. Even the way it's being interpreted, it's interpreted as if you're actually busy, and you're not actually busy. That's just a habit of thinking that you are actually busy. You're not actually busy. See? So there's different ways to just feel sensation. You know, a lot of the times these thoughts come in and go, okay, I'm really busy now, so just feel the sensation, and not even notice that that thought that just said you're busy is full of shit. There's no busy. There's no such thing. Even if the schedule is packed, and this is my experience that I'm sharing, even if the schedule is packed, there's always just this field of awareness, consciousness arising within a field of awareness. There's not anything else. There's no one to be busy. They're just identifying with a thought that says busy is real. So you have to keep on seeing that again and again until you realize it doesn't really matter how much stuff you seem to have going on. For one, it's always changing. That's the key. It's always changing. And what the ego does is it tries to make it permanent. Like, this is how busy I am, period. It's never changing. I'm this busy. Or it might try to determine I'm going to be this busy for this many weeks or this many years or whatever. Or I'm just this is how life is, just busy. Like that. See? And the thing is, there's no that busy is only a feeling. Each one of these things on the calendar can be experienced with a sense of spaciousness, complete spaciousness. And that spaciousness includes any kind of uncomfortable feeling. That spaciousness includes any passing thoughts that says, oh my God, I'm so busy today. It includes it, but it doesn't make it meaningful. It doesn't make it any more meaningful than, say, a cat's meow.
Yeah, and part of this also is thinking or this thought that I'm somehow doing not what I want to do or what I should be doing. Is that the others are making me? They're making me, and I totally realize that that's BS. But it's still, but that energy is still coming up, you know.
Okay. Well, you know what? When you don't mind whether it comes up or not, you're there.
Uh-huh. Yeah. Yeah, that I remind myself of too. It's like it's more like remembering.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's there for you to play with. It's actually there for
This
you
is
to
a
play with.
movie and I'm the director of the movie somehow, and even though there's no I, you know, but something that
Yeah.
identifies as me is the director of the movie.
Well, as consciousness, you are the director of the movie. As consciousness in this dream, you're the director of the movie.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so it's like as soon as you're able to play with that energy, it becomes playful for you. Then it can move in a different way that you hadn't imagined before.
Mm-hmm.
And it's kind of like you're holding it in a stuck position because you're believing that you want to get out of it. And you haven't played with it yet. You haven't enjoyed it yet.
Mm-hmm.
See?
Yeah, same thing with the sensation of like, oh, somebody's being unfair towards me. These people are being unfair towards me. There is injustice here. I'm being ripped off or something like that. And I'm catching myself having these intense experiences about it. Like, why am I doing that? Why is that? Why am I buying into it?
For the experience. It's for that intense experience. That intense experience is like a doorway for even deeper, greater joy. And as the intense experience are met like that, everything becomes less intense. Everything calms down.
And meeting the experience meaning just letting go of interpretation entirely.
That whole interpretation, anything that passes, anything that crosses the awareness, notice where it is, where it's arising. You're not in a body, you're not an individual in the world. It's arising within the space of awareness. Through consciousness, things are manifesting. Even thoughts, it's the same.
What do you mean by where it's arising? Because you know I've done this with someone, Christine, for instance, where you work with or where do you feel it in the body? And sometimes it gets annoying. Like I don't know, I don't feel it, or do I feel it? Or okay, did I make it up that I feel it?
Yeah, there's no making anything up. You can, you know what? You don't have to feel anything that's super subtle. It doesn't have to be subtle. Like when you find yourself in the grips of an emotion, check in with your breath. That's a good way to know whether you're in the grips of emotion. Look at how you're breathing for a second. I'm sure you can understand that.
And the heart rate too, even. Yeah.
And freaking pinch your arm. Feel that. Can you feel that when you pinch your arm? Feel that. Just feel it. That's it. It's that fucking simple. I swear.
Oh wow.
But people won't do that because they think this thought about it is so much more important than what this feels like right here. Oh, there's a thought that says blah, 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 blah. What does that feel like? That makes it meaningless.
Emotional pain, right?
Yeah.
It's so real. It's so real.
Get the fascia blaster out. You got the fascia blaster?
No.
Look it up. Look it up. Look it up. It's a massage tool. Get that thing out. Blast yourself. Feel that.
I did. You know what I did recently? I did a sensory deprivation tank. That was interesting.
Yeah, those are popping up. We have one in Hilo.
Yeah. I guess it's becoming popular.
Okay, it's time for me to go. My boy would like to go to Island Naturals, and I'm gonna take him shopping.
Thank you, Hope. Love you.
Thank you. I love you, everyone. Thank you so much. And by the way, we're sponsored by our lovely essential oil company, Miracle Botanicals. You could go to miraclebotanicals.com. Oh yeah, Lori said something about Miracle Botanicals on here. I was saving it for the end. She said, the peppermint I got from you totally worked for Peter. He was amazed. Totally took his headache away. Okay, so yeah, that's peppermint essential oil that she's talking about. And here's the thing, I always like to point this out, especially on Wisdom Dialogue. Peppermint oil cannot actually take a headache away. Remember, it's all happening in the mind. So we don't need to give power to things, even if they're wonderful smelling things like peppermint essential oil. But, you know, it's kind of like, oh, my medicine can be this. It's like a magic trick. Oh, my medicine can be this. Oh, my medicine can be this lovely peppermint oil. Or, oh, my medicine can be this lovely Advil, whatever people want. Whatever it is. The mind is through consciousness is making up effects, but these things don't have effects on us. We're giving it that power. We're giving it that power of effect. And through the power of awareness, everything is good for us. And especially things that smell delicious. So if you're interested in anything like that, miraclebotanicals.com. Here every Tuesday going to 3 p.m. Hawaii time. But if you're on the mainland, that doesn't change the time. It stays the same for you. So next week, because this weekend the time's changing. Next week it's 3 p.m. Hawaii time. Whatever it has been for you on the mainland, it stays like that. And I might get the broadcast from the Buddha Shack next week since it might be sunny at 3 o'clock. I don't have lights in there yet. Okay, so if you want to get invitations to this, go to facebook.com/Wisdom Dialogues. Yay, I love you. Thank you so much, everyone who joins, everyone who listens. We're also on SoundCloud and iTunes. Everything's free. Feel free to listen from there too. Hooray, I love you. And until next week or whenever we meet, a hooey ho! Go into the store. Yay.